Alberta stands at a crossroads, and the Alberta Prosperity Project, or APP, is playing a visible role in a growing debate about Alberta's future. So what is the APP, what does it do, and how could its vision impact Alberta? The Alberta Prosperity Project was founded in 2021, with its first organized meeting reportedly held on May 23, 2021, in Nisku, Alberta. Dennis Modry, a retired cardiovascular surgeon, co-founded the APP and served as its first CEO, alongside Jeff Rath, the group's general counsel. As of mid-2025, the CEO is Mitch Sylvestre, who also currently chairs the United Conservative Party's Bonnyville-Cold Lake-St. Paul Constituency Association. The organization describes itself as a not-for-profit, non-partisan educational society focused on Alberta's prosperity and sovereignty. They advocate through in-person and online events, policy advocacy, and public mobilization. According to APP CEO Mitch Sylvestre, the organization has registered around 250,000 Albertans as supporters, with up to 200,000 new members joining in just 5 weeks following the 2025 federal election. The group aims for 600,000 supporters, well above the 177,000 legally required for a referendum petition in Alberta. However, these numbers are not independently verified. The figures come directly from APP leadership and are reported as such in media coverage. The Roadmap to Sovereignty. The Alberta Prosperity Project's roadmap begins with education and public engagement. Through town halls and community events, the group explains why it believes Alberta should have more control over its own affairs, especially in areas like pensions, policing, natural resources, taxation, and immigration. However, the Canadian Constitution already provides Alberta, and all provinces, substantial authority over the very areas the APP highlights. The organization is also advocating for a province-wide referendum, where Albertans would vote on whether the province should secede from Canada and become a sovereign, independent nation. The recent approval of another petition has delayed, but not altered, this next step. The APP is still pushing for an independence referendum, but the timeline is now dependent on the outcome and duration of the currently approved petition process. A key part of the APP's message is economic. In July 2025, the APP released a draft fiscal plan projecting that Alberta's economy could double within 20 years of separation, with large budget surpluses and new opportunities for growth. The plan argues that by keeping more of Alberta's wealth at home, the province could invest in infrastructure, healthcare, and education. However, these claims are debated. Economists and policy experts have raised questions about the plan's assumptions and the costs of creating new institutions, such as a pension plan or central bank. There are also concerns about the risks of separation, including uncertainty over trade, currency, and the impact on jobs and investment. While APP projects annual surpluses of $23.6 to $45.5 billion, recent Alberta budgets show much smaller and far more volatile surpluses, heavily dependent on oil prices. The province has also run significant deficits in recent years, including a $17 billion shortfall in 2020-21. APP also claims Alberta would save $44 to $47 billion annually by ending equalization payments to Ottawa. But is that how equalization actually works? Equalization is funded from federal general revenues, not direct payments from Alberta. While Alberta is a net contributor, the savings figure conflates that broader contribution with the equalization program itself. Even if Alberta stopped contributing, it would still need to fund the federal services currently delivered in the province, which could offset or exceed those claimed savings. APP's plan estimates the movement to separate from Canada would have one-time setup costs of $2.8 to $5.7 billion for new institutions. Independent experts argue that the true costs of establishing new national institutions, such as a central bank, military, border services, and regulatory agencies, are highly uncertain and could be much higher than APP estimates. The plan underestimates the complexity and expense of replicating federal programs, negotiating international trade agreements, and managing new administrative burdens. Alberta's current fiscal data and independent economic analysts raise questions about several of APP's key assumptions. The APP also has a plan to exit the Canadian pension plan and create its own provincial pension plan, arguing this would be more financially advantageous for Albertans and give the province greater control over retirement savings. APP claims Alberta may be entitled to $334 billion, over half of CPP's assets, enabling lower contribution rates and higher benefits. Pension experts, including Sebastian Bettermere, McGill University, say the assumptions behind Alberta's share are questionable and that alternative, much lower estimates exist. The APP's fiscal plan may be a useful starting point for public debate, but its projections should be treated with caution. Most independent experts view the plan as overly optimistic and not a reliable forecast of Alberta's post-independence fiscal reality. As the debate continues, Albertans face a choice: pursue greater autonomy, consider independence, or find new ways to work within Confederation. Whatever path Albertans are debating, in these times of bold claims and high emotion, it's worth asking, are we being led by facts or by frustration? Big change always sounds simple, until the details start to matter. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more on Alberta's politics, economy, and the sovereignty debate.